welcome to episode 6 of the Make Way for Youth podcast. I'm so excited that we've reached to this particular episode. It's such a milestone to have already done 5 episodes and to have them well received in this space. So last week we spoke about youth engagement in political spaces in sub-Saharan Africa. So to follow up on that conversation today, we will have a conversation on what meaningful youth engagement actually looks like on the ground. And to have this conversation, I am joined by several guests from the Make Way program. We have Emmanuel Barare, who's a youth panelist. We have Chris Matagaro, who is the founder of Black Coffee Network. And we have Myria Koutsoumpa, who is the coordinator at the regional and global level of the Make Way program. And so just to note, the Make Way program breaks barriers to SRHR by applying an intersectional lens. So with that, before we get to the episode, my name is Warindi. I will be your co-host today. I am joined by Bertha and Vilda, my fellow co-hosts, who I would like them to say hello to you before we get to the guests. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us, and thank you Warindi. This is Vilda Atieno. Thank you.
Thank you, Vilda. Over to you, Bertha.
Thank you, Warindi. Hi everyone, this is Bertha. Happy to have you here with us in this podcast.
Over to you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Warindi. My name is Matagaro Chris. I am the founder and current chairperson of Black Coffee Network. Basically, we are a community-based organization that focuses on 3 key things: sexual reproductive health and rights, mental health awareness, and economic empowerment of young people. And other than that, we are very, very keen on understanding about what meaningful youth participation is all about, and it's at the core of our business. Super, super glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Chris. Emmanuel?
Thank you so much, Warindi. My name is Emmanuel Barare. I'm a youth SRHR advocate within the Make Way program. I serve as a youth panel member and also a youth council member for the regional panel as well. And I'm really, really glad to be part of this conversation today as we delve into matters meaningful youth engagement and participation. And yeah, hoping to have a really good one. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Myria, our coordinator. No pressure.
Hi. Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be here with you. My name is Myria Koutsoumpa, and I'm working as a global health advocate at VEMOS, an NGO based in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And I'm also the coordinator of the regional and global context and the regional and global work that we do at the Make Way Partnership.
Thank you, Myria. So we can start with Chris and Emmanuel as youth advocates in SRHR in similar spaces. If you can share with us what meaningful youth participation in this space means for you and maybe to the constituents you work with or other youth you work with.
I do have a deep understanding of meaningful youth participation because even when I started Black Coffee Network, part of what we started was to have some form of engagement and networking among young people. The idea was to use coffee as a means of connecting young people to each other, hence the word Black Coffee Network. And based on our bi-weekly meetings, which we started having back in 2017, where we were just discussing issues that we faced, engaging on different discussions, including inviting guests who could be able to just give us more insights. So meaningful youth participation is at the core of what we do at Black Coffee Network. We understand that, first of all, we need each other. And at the same time, how do we engage young people meaningfully for them to be able to achieve what they need to do? So at the core of it, what I came to discover is, first of all, identity. People want to belong to something and people want to be attached with each other. Young people are very social. So my understanding for meaningful youth participation is, how do we fully interact with young people, give them the opportunities for them to fully utilize to be their best selves, and at the same time linking them with the opportunities they need. So meaningful youth participation is something very critical for any organization. And at the same time, I feel like it's at the core of anything that needs to be sustainable, right? Because if you want to think beyond just the few things that you're doing right now, you definitely need meaningful youth participation. That's what I would mention in a nutshell.
Emmanuel, maybe you could share with us what your experience and understanding of meaningful youth engagement is.
Wow. So maybe a lot's already been said in regards to MYP, and maybe just to look into maybe the Kenyan context and my experience with meaningful youth participation is that within the Makeway program, I've been able to see meaningful youth participation as something that enables young people to be involved, to enable them to be in inclusive spaces where they're able to have empowerment and that their voices and concerns are heard, that they're able to propose particular solutions to the issues that they have, because young people are aware of their issues because there's nothing for them without them, really. And what this has been done, or this has enabled, is there's been a lot of collaboration with stakeholders at all levels, really, ensuring that young people are heard. And I think one of the really key strengths that meaningful participation brings to our SRHR advocacy is it enables sustainability, because the awareness of young people and the issues that they face, they're able to create solutions that are sustainable for them, that work for them, really. And from my perspective, that's what I have been able to see.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I really love the fact that you are bringing out the aspects of people needing each other and putting it clearly that we need each other. And also identifying that young people, when you think of young people, you also need to talk of the identity, belonging, and attachment. Thank you so much. And I really love those insights. And thank you for the good work that you are doing. Myria, now that you work with VEMOS, which is a lobby and advocacy organization, and also being the coordinator of the regional and global group, I wanted to ask, what do you think are the value of meaningful youth participation in sexual reproductive health and rights advocacy at all levels?
Great, thank you. Thank you for the question. So I'll share a few thoughts. First of all, to start with, we start from the basis that participating in matters that affect young people is a fundamental right for young people. So there's no question for the value. SRHR is a crucial part of this, whether you are sexually active or not, despite your age, at some point SRHR is part of your life. So engagement with young people is helping all sorts of programs to better develop because it's actually the youth that are the best people to express what do they need, what is their realities, what is their opinion. They are more informed and they have more knowledge on several topics around SRHR.
Thank you, Myria, for affirming our role in SRHR spaces and in general in social justice movements. We actually need more advocates like you to speak for us and know that we are capable of doing this work, and we're also ready to do this work. But Chris, a question to you is, as a youth leader and a founder and also executive director or chairperson of the Black Coffee Network, what are gains that you've seen from having intergenerational partnerships and conversations, especially in advocacy for SRHR? I ask this question because in many spaces, I feel like youth want to do their own advocacy work and implementation of advocacy work by their own, and also older generation or older, in my background, which is the feminist space, they want to do their work by themselves. So I don't know if you have, in your capacity as an chairperson and also a founder, who's been able to work with both groups, both youth and also other people who are more mature in the movement, what gains you've seen from collaboration from both spaces.
Thank you so much, Warindi, for that question. First of all, just to appreciate the Makeway project because of the opportunities that they've provided for us as a collaborating partner under the circle of concerned women, African women theologians. And what we've done and what we've seen is that, first of all, there is a need for us to streamline and align our objectives because of the intergenerational, partnerships and conversations are critical because of, number one, understanding. I feel like the older, if I may use that word, the ones that are more established, I think that's the right word to use. The established organizations have been, engaging, providing projects, ideas based on, data that is sort of from the past, and we need to sort of give them that new perspective. We've seen what technology can do with social media, with online, even the fact that we're able to do this a podcast live from different locations all over the world, meaning that there needs to be an alignment from the side of the ideas that they're presenting, first of all, and then number two, coming in with the idea of, okay, we have these issues that are affecting young people right now. We know the issues that are ongoing. We're not even going to start talking about them. The teenage pregnancies, gender-based violence, all those issues. And we know where the shoe hurts the most. So the organizations that are already established need to collaborate with us. And that's why I love the concept of how even the Makeway project was designed, because they understand we're at the grassroots. We're the ones who are engaging with the youth in the communities through our sessions. For example, as Black Coffee, we're doing every sessions every 2 weeks, among other projects that we do. So our key need is we have the knowledge, we have the ideas. They might have a bit of experience in terms of structure, understanding maybe donor expectations. So when we link that, we have this beautiful collaborative efforts towards addressing societal issues, which is what we want to do in the end. So I tend to think that every generation has their strengths and sort of weaknesses. And if we sit down and collaborate, we bring together all our efforts. And especially for us, we're always looking for resources. That is for sure. We need more resources to bring about all these ideas that we have. So I see us being able to, move forward, get more strides in addressing SRHR issues whenever we have this collaboration. So under Makeway, I've really seen these partnerships and conversations really going well. And because of that, we have seen ourselves really reach more people, get more engagements, and even more participation from young people. Thank you.
So Chris, you share a very important point and maybe experience that I'd like to reiterate about how Makeway works, especially in youth engagement. It's truly a novel program that I hope other programs can emulate in terms of working with young people like ourselves in this space, youth panelists, also youth-led organizations like your own. So that's a very good kudos to the program itself. But over to you, Bertha, for the next question.
All right, thanks, Warindi. Myria, also that you're coming from the advocacy work at global level, and also with an understanding of philanthropists that want to fund youth-led initiatives, but demand some certain level of experience from young people. What kind of message would you have for such philanthropists, and how does the funding mechanism look like at global level for funding meaningful youth-led initiatives, for example?
Sometimes funders demand a certain level of experience, and actually there is this negative bias sometimes. There is a perceived lack of experience that young people may have, and I want to highlight the word perceived, which is something that as a global community we need to challenge when it comes to funding youth-led initiatives and youth-led organizations. And what, let's say, global funding mechanisms need to understand is that young people can bring, as I said, innovative ideas that can lead to transformative solutions. And that's actually many times what funders wants to do, like to contribute to sustainable development. And that's the sort of initiatives that can lead to that. And when you provide financial support to youth initiatives, basically you help cultivate a new generation of leaders. And these are the ones that are going to be the decision makers tomorrow at all levels, as we said, from community to global level. Another element is that we see a lot of philanthropists striving for instance, for diversity and inclusion. Well, funding young people contributes to that, because young people-driven initiatives are often more inclusive and more diverse than others, and also it contributes to the local changes, as we said, and that's something that the philanthropists and funders often focus on, the community level work, and young people are very strong at that level as well. Focus on direct funding on youth-led organizations. So not to expect the youth-led organization necessarily to be part of a bigger consortium or to be under an established organization led by, I don't know, older people, but to really trust and direct funding to youth-led initiatives and youth advocates.
Thank you so much for sharing that very insightful statement, Myria. I was part of a group of young people that was saying RIP to the RFPs, like rest in peace to the request for proposals, because they were so technical. And
nice.
Young people couldn't understand those, but they had very brilliant and innovative ideas that could be implemented and achieve social justice and sustainable development too. Thank you so much for that insight. Vil, over to you.
Yes, Myria, thank you so much. And I just wanted to comment on something, especially believing in young people and trusting young people to a point that, you see, when you are talking, you speak about CSW being one of the spaces that was very tough to navigate, but also being deliberate to ensure that you created a safe space even just to meet and ensure that everyone is okay and their participation is also meaningful at such a forum. Thank you so much, Myria.
So we have come to the end of our podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, Emmanuel, Chris, and Myria. Thank you for sharing your insights. And if you can just summarize some of the call to actions that I've picked from our conversation today is, firstly, that young people should be included in advocacy work, for example, SRHR work. The next one that really came up is resourcing youth-led movements and organizations to make sure that we're investing actually in the next generation that takes up the work. And the very last one is advice to young people to build community, to join movements. We can only coalesce around issues and then work on them as a team. Actually, there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go somewhere very fast, you should go alone. But if you want to go the distance, or if you want to go further, then take a team. So that we should build movements to ensure that we go miles and miles, we go further. But anyway, to our listeners, thank you so much for listening to our 6th episode of the Make Way for Youth podcast. Our next episode will be on the African Disability Protocol and disability justice in general. So I do hope you catch us then. But in the meantime, please help us amplify our work by sharing this podcast and also other podcasts that we've released before on your social media networks. This podcast can be found on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. So thank you so much for listening. That's it from me. Goodbye and catch you on the next episode. Do have a lovely day. Bye.